Hi, my name is Gayan Zheng, and I am an artist and I'm a teacher. Over the summer of 2018, I taught a mural class to a group of middle school and high school youth, a Mandarin immersion class over the summer with the Mandarin Institute and the Start Talk program. And so we did a mural right here in Chinatown. Story. So I'm from New York City. I grew up in New York City's Chinatown. I came here after college, but I've always wanted to do organizing because I want to change, make structural changes in people's lives. Because I experienced firsthand what it was like to be mistreated, to be living in poverty, to be living in slum conditions, to see a lot of violence, different forms of violence, economic violence, and other forms of violence when I was growing up in New York City's Chinatown. And so I wanted to kind of be part of that change growing up. And so after I graduated from college, I came out here. I did a little bit of union work before I come to Chinatown because I always wanted to work in my own community in a way and able to use my own language skills. So I was working in different immigrant communities for sure, and then settled down here in Chinatown and serving the community here. When I was an organizer, I worked primarily with restaurant workers, and so the story that's actually the dearest to my heart is the one right here it's the one with the restaurant worker because I worked in many restaurant cases, and the largest one I worked on was the Ezine case, which was a dim sum restaurant and a high-end dim sum restaurant in the financial district, and I organized that as basically the lead organizer. We worked with 100 workers and we won, and this is a poem by one of the workers. So I feel like it was as an excerpt of a poem by one of the workers. So I feel like it really speaks to it speaks to the hope. It speaks to the hope that hopefully will challenge the fatalism that a lot of workers may face, and immigrant workers living in Chinatown, living in this country. So hopefully, so that's what I want to convey, a sense of hope. The other story speaks to housing, on immigration, and of love. So they all each have a different story behind it.
I really like the image of the mother and son and daughter walking, and it's framed in the doorway. Was that inspired by any particular person?
Yes, that's actually from another artist and organizer like myself. She grew up in Chinatown, and she's actually still living in Chinatown right now. So she's an artist as well, and that's her poem. And I really love that poem that she wrote about just the love that she grew up in, and also about the generation, the generational love, but also about like gender, right? About women and the bonds between different generations of women, and I think that really speaks close to my heart as well. We have a lot of just random people when we work just coming up to us and giving us props. They were impressed by the mural. Most of them, some of them are too shy to ask questions, but some of them are just like really impressed with the youth and their work, and they're working on it every day. They were also really impressed by the stories behind it. Like, oh, so that's what it's about. Most people don't know that a lot of there's a gentrification going on in Chinatown, and people are being pushed out, and they're using the excuse of, oh, well, you're hanging laundry outside of your window, which is everywhere in Chinatown, right? As an excuse to either fine them very heavily to push them out, or like just make their lives miserable, right? Using the laundry as an excuse to bring in more wealthier tenants into the Chinatown. So that's one reaction. And now, of course, I got a lot of props from my colleagues who also worked in Chinatown at CPA. My former colleagues, I think they were moved, and that they saw themselves and they saw the work in the mural. Hopefully, I think for me, I think they really enjoy it. I think this is their favorite class. I mean, who would like to sit in a classroom, right? They'd rather be out here painting or even washing brushes rather than in a classroom. I mean, but I think most importantly, I see the shift in their thinking, because I would say most of them are coming from outside of Chinatown, the majority of them, and I was just really proud that they were able to articulate some of these issues, because we have a couple of pre-sessions before we start painting, right? Talking about what are we putting in the mural, what are some issues that are important to Chinatown residents, what are some stories of Chinatown residents. I'm more of a comic artist. Like mural art is like actually really new to me. Don't tell anybody, this is my first like real mural. This is my first real mural, and I'm so happy that it's in my community that I worked in and kind of, I would say, grew up in New York. Yeah, I'm sick of all the dragons and lanterns, you know, already. So, but I usually do comics. That's my medium. I don't know. I would just want to keep telling stories, and I'm actually doing the art of teaching right now, which is also very, very, very important, I would say.